In 1953, the world looked at South Korea and saw a hopeless case. The Korean War had just ended, leaving the peninsula in ruins. Homes were rubble, factories were gone, and the country's GDP per capita was less than $70. At the time, South Korea was poorer than Haiti, Ethiopia, and most of its neighbors. It was a nation surviving almost entirely on foreign aid. Fast forward to today. South Korea is a global titan. It is the 13th largest economy on Earth, a leader in semiconductors, and the cultural powerhouse behind the global Hallyu wave. They didn't just grow. They achieved what economists call the miracle on the Han River. How did a country with zero natural resources transform from a war-torn ruin to a high-tech superpower in just 40 years? The secret wasn't luck. It was a radical strategy. In the early 1960s, South Korea abandoned the idea of being self-sufficient and turned to the world. Since they had no oil or minerals, they exported the only thing they had: labor. They started small. They didn't start by building cars. They started with wigs, cheap textiles, and footwear. The government set strict export targets for businesses. If a company hit its targets, it got cheap loans and government support. If it failed, it was left to collapse. This high-pressure environment forced Korean companies to become internationally competitive almost overnight. Between 1962 and 1973, Korean exports grew by a staggering 40% every single year. By the 1970s, the light industry phase was over. To reach the next level, the government made a massive bet on heavy and chemical industrialization. They funneled billions into steel, shipbuilding, and electronics. This was the birth of the Chaebols, massive family-run conglomerates like Samsung, Hyundai, and LG. These weren't just companies, they were national projects. While the rest of the world was buying Japanese or American tech, South Korea was building its own infrastructure, like the Gyeongbu Expressway and the POSCO steel mills, creating a backbone for a modern industrial state. But factories and steel aren't enough for a miracle. The real engine was the people. South Korea invested more in education than almost any other developing nation. Parents sacrificed everything to send their children to university, creating a hyper-skilled workforce. By the 1990s, South Korea was no longer catching up. They were leading. They became the first country to transition from a major aid recipient to a member of the OECD's donor club. Today, South Korea's story is a blueprint for the world. It proves that geography isn't destiny, and that poverty isn't permanent. It shows that with a clear vision, disciplined investment in people, and an obsession with the global market, a miracle is possible. The Han River was once a symbol of war and loss. Today it reflects the lights of a nation that refused to stay down.